Hello folks, Junkie Rock 13 here, everything vaping related, Junkie Rock 13. My real name is Ross Sanders and I'm here today bringing you the Steam Machine Genie. Now I know I'm going to pronounce this wrong, but it is made by Atmo Mixani, the maker of the 69 telescopic device mod. But this is the Steam Machine Genie. Now the Steam Machine Genie is another form factor of the Steam Machine. It originally came out and it was sort of like the Ego C tanks with a rebuildable part, and then they moved on to a dripper, I believe. And then there was a VST, which was almost like a rebuildable cartomizer, but there were some differences. And then the Steam Machine Genie. Now I might be wrong on the time frame, what came out first or what came out next, but those are all the different form factors that the Steam Machine comes in. You can buy updated kits to use the other form factors, but I believe the main section, the bottom portion of this device, what you'll see in the close-up, is the same one for all, and you can buy the different ones. There will be a link in the description to all those other form factors and to the Genie. I did receive this for review purposes from atmomixani.com or .gr. This is from Greece. So let's take a look at it close up and then we'll see how it vapes. Let's get right to it. Okay folks, so here we go. This is the close-up of the Steam Machine Genie. Okay, this is the bottom base part. The bottom base part does have an engraved Steam Machine train on there. Hoping you can see that. And on the other side, there is a serial number engraved on there, and the serial number on mine is 0869. Okay, and there is an air hole. The bottom threading on this device is not your standard 510, but rather Ego cone threading. So the threading is here, and you will need either an Ego adapter or an Ego type battery. And on the bottom base, you notice that there is a protruding positive post that is insulated with Delrin, I believe, down is in there. The bottom base piece is a universal piece for the Steam Machine and can be used for the other different modes. Now I only have the Genie mode or the Genesis mode, so I cannot show you how it works with the other sections. This is the tank tube, standard stainless steel, threaded on the inside, very fine threading, very well machined. But if you are a person that likes to see their juice, this device only comes with a stainless steel, so you're not going to be able to see it. Okay, now here is the Genesis section of this device. You notice that there's a spike down here at the bottom, and that will be inserted into the positive post on the bottom, and the little O-ring will make a seal there, so you will not have any juice dripping down into your devices. Now the positive post up on top is spring loaded, so there is a spring right there. Let me just grab this tool so I can show you. The spring is right there, so in order to capture or trap the positive lead, you will need to just pull this down and capture it between that thumb nut and this washer of the top spring. The negative screw is actually, okay, let's see, a flathead screw, or thumb screw actually, and does have very limited space to capture any wire underneath. I will show that better when I try to put the wire underneath that screw. And there's your wick hole, and your fill hole does have this little metal plug, but I usually take that out and set it off to the side after the device is filled. Your top air cap does not have threading. It is pushed on with the O-ring that is on the Genesis part. Okay. And your air hole is very small in my opinion. I like the 1/16 or 1.5 millimeter, and I believe this is either a 1 millimeter or 1.2 standard 510 drip tip connection, and I will show you how I put this together. Now, taking the bottom base part, before I even put the tank tube on there, I'm going to show you how this fits in there, makes a seal, and shows you the juice chamber is right there without the tank. So when your wick is actually coming down through the wick hole, you want to remember not to push it all the way down so it don't hit the top of that threading right there. Okay. Now I'm just going to put the tank tube on bottom base section. Threading is very nice, very well machined. Okay. Take the Genesis section, put the spike into the bottom positive post right there, and just tighten it up. I'm sorry folks, I am getting over a cold. Okay, now that it's all tight, well sealed, I am going to take a drill bit and wrap a coil. Before I put that in there, I want to just show you. Now I do have some 28 gauge wire here. 28 gauge Kanthal. Show. Okay. Now, when I take a little loop in the Kanthal, wrap it around this negative post, loosen that up a little bit, and because this negative screw, let me just pull this off to the side, because this negative screw is so thin, the wire barely catches underneath this screw post. So let me just tighten this up and hopefully I can catch it. This is the one complaint I do have about setting up this device, is that the negative see, that didn't catch. Let me just grab this other screwdriver. Oops. Okay. Now I will tighten this up one more time. Okay. Tighten down really good. Alright, there we go. I'll just take off this extra loose piece. Throw the drill bit in. So the flat section is right there. So I can wrap it right there. Okay. And because this is a 28 gauge Kanthal, what I'm going to do is give it my 4 to 5 wraps on this device, which will give me my 1.3 to 1.5 ohm coil. Okay, there's 4. Now when wrapping this, I wrap it nice and tight. Okay, and there's my 5th. Now I'll just bring it back around and hoping you can see that. And then I will just trap it back into the positive under that washer right there, or between the washer and the screw, actually, the nut. Break off the excess. And then position my wire so it's nice and even. Okay. Alright, that looks pretty even. Now I'm going to take out the drill bit and bring over my pre-oxidized wick that I already have made. So if you want to learn how to make or oxidize a wick, roll and oxidize a wick, you can watch my video. I will leave a description or a link to that description video in the description. Wow, I screwed that up. I will leave a link to that video in the description. There we go. Now you want to make sure that the wick has nice, not too tight with the coil, but nice tension, and you don't want to push it all the way down so it comes in contact with that other thread inside. So there is a completed coil on the Steam Machine Genie. Just going to pull my Provari in, lower it down, bring it down to about 3.3 so I can test this coil. Test and see where the ohms are at. Let me just darken this up because it is hard to see the Provari numbers. Okay, and that's wrapped at 1.6. And that's usually where I like it. Between 1.3 and 1.5 is usually my sweet spot, but 1.6 is also very close. I'm just going to give this a fire and see where we're at, see if we have to make any adjustments. I'll bring up the voltage. Oops. I'll try that one more time. Bring up the voltage just a little bit to about 3.7 and see what it looks like. Okay, could use a little tiny adjustment here. All right. See, I always worry about this not being seen that good on the camera. Okay, let's try this. They are glowing nice and even. I know it's hard to see on the camera. I wish it was easier. There we go. Let's try that one more time. Okay. It is glowing nice and even. So now I'm just going to take a syringe filled with some cherry limeade from Timeless Vapor. Okay. Fill that up. There we go. And we'll let the juice wick into that wick. And my battery is flashing on the Provari, which is nothing uncommon. And we have some nice vapor. All right. Now I'm just going to throw on the top cap, line up the wick with the air hole, and throw on my little drip tip. Okay, so there you have it. There is the Steam Machine Genie on a Provari with a J-Wrap mod wrap on there and a flashing battery. So let's see how this vapes and see what I think about it. Okay, so there you have it. There's the close-up of the Steam Machine Genie. I will leave a link to the Genie down below in the description, and I will also leave a link to the other form factors of the Steam Machine. My opinion, my experiences with this Steam Machine Genie have been nothing but positive. I've had no issues with it. The one thing that I don't like about the Steam Machine Genie is the negative screw. It's so thin when it connects to the base that when you're wrapping the wire under it and tightening it down, sometimes the wire does not stay captured under the screw because it's so thin. The fatter wire that you use, like the thicker gauge I should say, like the 28 or the 30 or 31 tends to get pushed out easier. The 32 doesn't have that much of a problem. It does stay in there, and I'm sure they built it for the 32, but I do use other gauge wire like the 30 and the 28. It hits great. Let me show you how it vapes again. Vape's great, flavor's great, throat hit is great. Of course, that's going to have to do with your coil setup and your juice. But the one question I had about this is why they made it into the same diameter as an Ego, and only with the Ego threads. Now I know that this was an add-on form factor to the Steam Machine, but in my recent experiences with Genesis devices on an Ego battery, it seems like it has a tendency to kill the battery out a lot quicker than a cartomizer or a regular dripping atomizer. Genesis, I don't know, it's been my experiences that they burned out a couple Ego batteries, so I tend not to use Genesis devices on Ego batteries. But I have been using it on the Ego Twist. Now I have this set at around 3.8 volts and the wrap is 1.6. Let me give it a vape on here. It hits great, it really does. I like the way it hits. I like the way it looks on the Ego Twist. I've been using this setup a lot, just because of the sleekness, the thinness. I actually put a long drip tip on here. I can't even find it right now. I had it yesterday and now I can't find it. I keep on looking for it all day long, like it's gonna pop out. It probably fell somewhere, but it's kind of nice. It gives it a little bit, like another inch and a half length on it. It's really like one of them long old school cigarettes. But anyhow, I've been enjoying this device. The one thing I would say is if you could get a different negative screw to put in there, thumb screw, it'd probably be easier to set up. Other than that, I've been enjoying it. I really have. I am going to check out the other form factors on the Steam Machine, the Dripper, the VST, and the original Steam Machine. I see what they're all about because I've enjoyed this one. Want to check them out? Check out the link down below. Make sure you subscribe down below, comment on my video, please. Be kind to one another and keep on vaping, everybody. Take care, everyone.